Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Here's Why You're Wrong. I'm Mick, and this is Jim.
Hi.
We want to thank you all for joining us tonight live. It is November 21st, and we're doing part 2 of our rant show, which we did a couple of weeks ago. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great show. I think people seem to enjoy it because everybody's got a list of things that just drive us nuts. So we'd love to have you guys call in. The phone number here is 503-207-7135.
Please call in.
It's right here at the bottom of your screen, so give us a call. We'd love to have you.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a call. Tell us about your rants. We always like to start off with a little topical news of what's going on lately. Jim has been dealing with some personal stuff. Jim, do you want to touch on that?
Well, my mother passed away on the 9th, Friday. 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
The day after our last show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she was 94, so it was not unexpected, and she had been in failing health. I just want to shout out to my mom and where these airwaves are going out. I hope she hears them, and she's with my dad, who passed away in 2004, and my wife's father has also passed away, and it just brings closer to home the human frailty that we all will eventually get there. The death rate's 1 per person, and so I just say to everyone, hug your kids, hug your parents, throw out as much love as you can, because in the end, that's all you leave with.
Yeah. It's interesting, where the TV waves go. Who knows? It just all these beams go out from the planet, and you never know.
Kind of think
about that. Interesting thought. Yeah. Had she ever seen the show?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder what she would have thought.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah. Well, let's hope she's watching now. Then. So we were going to talk about some of the topical things. What's been in the news this week, and particularly today, is the so-called nuclear option in the Senate, and that is basically up until now in the Senate to break a filibuster, which is sort of what you pull out of your back pocket when you're the minority and you don't want something to go through. You filibuster, you take up as much time as you can, and it takes a 2/3 vote to stop that from happening. Although I think you can do it with maybe 61
67
votes. I think it took 67 to do it, but there's some loophole where you could maybe do it with 61. What they call the nuclear option is changing it so that a simple majority can do it. So 51 votes. If you get one more than half, then you're done.
And what's brought this on is the incredible number of filibusters that the Republican Party has basically done since Obama was elected.
And these are judicial nominees.
Judicial nominees to,
In this case, they're judicial nominees, and that's the first thing they did after they enacted this nuclear option. They pushed through some of these nominees that they've been trying to get through. So let me give you my thoughts on this, and I think they may differ from yours, Jim. I'm not sure. But, we've been dealing, and when I say we, I mean we liberals and the Democrats in general, have been dealing with this Obamacare stuff for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's been bruising, embarrassing, because things didn't go off the way that they should. And right when we're feeling sort of vulnerable, they do something like this, and I have to say I disagree with it strongly. I do. Now, both sides are at fault here. The Democrats, it seems like a childish move to change the law when you're the majority in office, and of course you can take advantage of it. Looking down the road, they're not always going to be the majority, and it's not going to feel so good when someone else is in power. The Republicans tried to do this in 2005. Same thing. Democrats were blocking nominees from W.
Nothing like the Republicans have done. Nothing.
Maybe not. Not in the same numbers, but they were blocking people, and the Republicans said, we're going to go for this nuclear option, we're going to change things up, and there was a huge up in arms. You can't do that. The Democrats did not want to go down that road. You can't do that. You're changing the fabric of the Senate. Well, now that they're the majority, they don't seem to care so much, and they've gone ahead and done it. Um, I think shame on the Democrats for doing that. I do. I agree that it's difficult when someone filibusters, but sometimes that's the only shot you have. So, I think it's shameful that they've done that. On the other hand, Republicans, just shut up about it. You tried the same exact thing years ago. So you got Democrats who didn't want it years ago, who now want it, so they've done a total 180 and flip-flopped on it. And you've got Republicans who really wanted it years ago, and now they don't want it. So both parties, shut up, do what you're supposed to do. We should be having all these filibusters to begin with. Get it done.
Yeah,
That's what you're there for. You're not there to, mess around and pander to the different lobbies and things. And it brings me back to the idea of term limits. And my God, do we need some term limits down there? I mean, these people have been there 30, 40 years. Mitch McConnell, even Harry Reid's been there a long time. We don't need people digging in this long. The only way you're going to fix it, I think, is to enact some sort of term limits where, maybe 8 years, give them 2 terms, give them something. But you don't get to spend your entire life down there being a career politician because you just get so entrenched. The lobbyists get so far into your pocket, and it just is ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand it. But in this case, I think we've all lost. I think the Democrats have lost. I think it's going to hurt reputation. It makes us look like children, who weren't getting our way, so we changed the rules of the game. And I just don't think it's going to do anyone any favors. Down the road, if, God forbid, Republicans take power back, well, now they only need a simple majority to do things. So.
Right. It just shows you that the importance of your vote, that voting does matter.
It does.
So with a simple majority, think carefully before you pull the lever or send in that mail-in ballot.
That's right. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of great people to choose from. That's the problem. I mean, you're sort of stuck with the lesser of two evils oftentimes.
I mean, who would want to go into that?
I don't know. I mean, it should be a citizen legislature. It should be made up of farmers and doctors and IT people and retail salesmen and who knows what. It's supposed to be a mix of our population, but it's like 90% lawyer and 100% politician. So that's what we get. They're screwing up. I wish more people would get interested, get angry.
Mik, you should go to law school. All the lawyers are running this country.
They are. I don't want to go to law school. I want to run this country without being a lawyer. And
Touché.
God willing, someday I'll have my chance. We'll see. Once this TV show makes it into syndication, there's no stopping us.
That's right.
Really.
Hey.
I mean, we're going to be billboards plastered everywhere. Mik for president. This is going to be phenomenal. What a utopia. What a utopia this would be. In any case, let's start talking about rants a little bit. I mean, that was a brief one from me. We are doing our rant show, so we're just making a list. Jim and I have a list of things that just irritate us. Call in if you got something you want to complain about on the air. 503
Please call in.
207-7135. Give us a call, and we're just going to kind of go down our list here and get some things off our chest. You want to start, Jim, or you want me to start?
I would just say one more semi-political thing here. The
Okay.
Trans-Pacific Partnership, the son of NAFTA that is being strong-armed through the Senate for an up or down vote, and it's more NAFTA, more giant sucking sounds of jobs being sucked overseas. And I would ask people to call their legislators and object to this fast-track status for this Trans-Pacific Partnership that is going to even more destroy the middle class in this country. So that would be a rant
Interesting.
for me.
When people talk about calling their legislators, I don't think anybody ever does it because they feel like I can't make a difference. The fact is they don't get very many phone calls at all. And, they probably get, 3 or 4 a day. If they start seeing more than that, it does raise a red flag for them. And they say, wow, I'm getting, geez, I got 10 phone calls.
Well,
today
when
on
they
this one
fast
thing.
track this thing, it's an up or down vote, and the details of this Trans-Pacific Partnership is secret, and it's corporations, the higher the higher functionaries of these corporations that are in secret making the rules that would take away the sovereignty of the United States, force us to alter our food supply and accept possibly food that's, not to what we're expecting in quality-wise. But and you can't read about what it is because it's secret. And then it comes in, no one knows about it, and they have an up or down vote. So.
Well, what could possibly go wrong?
And I mean, Obama, come on, dude. You're a Democrat.
He is up to his neck in the mud right now.
It's the payback to Wall Street for giving him the money to get elected. So
I'm sure. Democrats are no better than Republicans in some respects, and they're just a little bit better, which is why I try to stick to their lines. So let's get into the rants.
Okay.
Do you have one, or you want me to go? You want me to
Go
start?
ahead.
Let me take a look at my list here. One of the things that I didn't get to last time that I want to talk about is in your car, the check engine light. I want to talk about this. You have a check engine light, I presume, Jim. It's 2013 now. I don't know when the check engine light came about. It's got to be 30 years old.
Yeah, 10, 20 years old, yeah.
Why can we not have a specific message that tells me what the hell is wrong?
You have to
There's one light that symbolizes like 72 possible things.
And you need a $5,000 machine to hook up to.
No, but you can stop at any auto parts store. They'll plug it in for free.
Oh,
okay.
Stop it, Mike. Like,
My
that's more convenient.
Light is on.
Oh,
so don't tell me to stop it. This is going
Why
on
haven't
my
you
light
stopped?
right now?
Well, what's the reason that it's on?
Because I have a job.
Yeah.
I don't get off.
Well, it's so easy. It's so easy to stop at any auto parts store, Mike. Why don't you?
Saturday.
Why don't you know what's wrong with your car?
I will do it on Saturday. It'll be like P090 sensor or something like that.
Well, it's either your gas cap is loose or the entire car is about to explode. I mean, it's anywhere on that gamut.
Right, that spectrum.
And that's my point. We can't have a little digital readout at this point. We've got digital speedometers. Everything's digital up there. You can't just give me a word that tells me what the hell is going on.
But for a $32 device, you can read all that stuff.
Oh, you can. It costs $32.
Yeah, because I bought one.
Okay.
They've come down a lot. It used to be over $100.
Well, they've got some of them that are real fancy. They don't do anything more. Because all you need it for is to tell you what it is, and you got a little booklet. You look up what it is that's wrong, and 99% of the time it's a gas cap.
Yes, it is the gas cap 99% of the time.
But you've got to reset it, and they probably don't want to put all of that stuff in there because that's more cost to have every car programmed to have some sort of readout.
It would be 78 cents for a little thing. I mean, we're talking about like a digital watch readout, a little LCD screen. Don't make excuses,
Mine
John.
would go
it's ridiculous.
in that other green car. You know I drive old cars, but
You do.
that it would come on and then it would go off, and then
And by old
1,000
cars,
miles later it would come on.
by old cars, Jim does not mean classic cars.
No.
By any means. Let's clarify that.
It was a Grand Am.
Jim means 30-year-old sort of clunker.
But I've got a good one now. This one is good.
It's solid as
And
a
it's
rock.
an American car, a Ford.
But Mick, if Jim cannot have a note, I mean, look at the smile on his face. I just feel like he's sticking it
I
to
hate
the man because
car
he has
payments.
no
He has,
note,
yes.
And he's got a reliable car.
It's
I feel
true.
the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Well, I question the fact that he's got a reliable car.
That Ford Taurus.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You can drive from here to Mississippi in that or my Prius. What are you going to go with?
It does burn some gas. I'll admit that.
No, even take away the gas thing. You think it's as reliable as a new
Oh
car?
yes. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was.
All right, Jim and I are
lightly
going to drag race from here to Mississippi
Yeah.
and see what happens. I know I'll use less gas, but I still think I'll get there first.
Yeah.
And Cristo said in the back booth, he said that mechanics have to make money, so that's why that engine light hasn't changed.
Okay, that's supposed to make
True.
me feel better? That someone has to make money, so they're taking it out of my pocket? No, put the LCD screen in. Listen up, car companies. I'm tired of it. I'm not putting up with your crap anymore. Jim, what do you got?
Well, here's one that I am guilty of: getting out of getting in an elevator when the doors open before people come out.
You know, the whole entrance and exit thing, it's not just elevators.
It's people having conversations in doorways while you want to get in, or they're in a hallway and they're blocking the main aisle and they're having a conversation, they're oblivious to the people around them. Yeah.
There are certain scenarios, and I experienced this on the Max, for example, or a bus or something, where everybody crowds right to the door to get on the bus, not thinking that there's going to be 50 people who have to get off.
Right.
And it opens up right in front of your face, and here you're just having a staring contest.
Yeah.
Planes, they do the same thing. They line up right outside the gate. Sometimes everybody rushes up there. It's like, okay, take it easy here, people. We're all going to the same place. We're all going to get there. And, yeah, the elevator, sometimes it's hard to judge that social cue of, do I just hop on now? Are these people getting out? Or
I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm thinking about something else and not paying attention in public and being inconsiderate, not on purpose, but just because you're not paying attention.
Right.
So,
and then you walk
and
into
I'm
them,
guilty
or
of
what?
that. So I need to be better about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty low on the totem pole of horrible things to do.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going straight to hell for that
Okay.
one.
Jim is Joe Citizen. Let me
He
tell
is. What would you change about your life, Jim? Well, I'd like to be better about getting onto elevators when people are getting off. Wow. All right. I guess.
Okay, what's yours? We can cross that one off
Yeah,
the list.
cross it off your list. This one seems like this seems almost like a cop-out one, but I really do mean this. Smokers and cigarette butts.
Oh,
God, I'm so tired of this crap.
I'm a former smoker, but yeah, the people that throw it, and they're all over the place.
What other kind of piece of paper do you think you can just toss out and just willy-nilly, I'm just going to leave this right here, as if it doesn't count as a piece of paper, let alone the fact that it smells like crap and you're poisoning yourself? Fine, you want to poison yourself? Go ahead. Fine. Out the window, down the highway all the time.
Yeah, you see the sparks
streets.
fly
Oh,
out. Or,
God, you hit my windshield with it.
And hasn't it been proven that forest fires have been started with cigarettes?
I found
Oh, yeah.
right by my house, over by Intel here, I was walking the dog, and they had the big piles of bark dust. And one of them was smoldering. And there was a cigarette there. And we had to call the fire department because I could not put it out. I kicked it with my foot, and flames erupted. And it was
Wow.
people drive down the street, flick their cigarette thing out. He said it was like the second time that week that it's happened. So
This was in the summer.
it was in the summer, yeah, very hot outside, and just God, you want to live in a trash can, go ahead. But that's why we have ashtrays and things like that. Go ahead and put it in the ashtray. Put it in
What
the
about
garbage can.
condoms on the side of the road? Or
I don't
mean,
see that
is
as much. It's been weeks since the last condom bounced off my
Good
windshield.
Lord! I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what's your thinking there?
Who knows? Who knows?
Jim looks for condoms every
We're
time
living-
he leaves the house.
We're living. You fool me once, shame on you. So, okay. So what's the next one on your list, Jim? What else you got?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of in the scheme. After being at my mom's funeral and wake today, these things seem trivial, but people, you're in the express lane at the grocery store and the guy has like 35 items and it says 10 items or less.
You wonder.
Or what about the people who crowd you at the grocery store as if them crowding you is going to make you hurry up? Like,
Right.
That's so passive aggressive.
Well, Jim's crowding the guy with the 35 items because he's pissed.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
now
know.
they have the auto check.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's either that person is so out of it that they just aren't aware of their surroundings, or they're so narcissistic they just don't care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got 32 items.
Yeah.
I'm still going to this lane.
yeah, I'm different. I'm special.
Yeah, I'm special, so I'm just
special.
going to do this.
Right.
I don't know what's worse, being so narcissistic and thinking that way, or just being so out of it that you're not even aware of your surroundings at any given time. They're both pretty bad. So
God, I mean, think about living in some place like Japan or China where the population density is. I mean, people have to be polite or they'd be murdering each other all the time.
sleeping in cubes and stacked on top of each other. Yeah, I don't.
Where's do we have some callers out there in
Nope.
TV land?
Nobody yet. Nobody's got.
Come
We
on.
live in a very peaceful society. Nobody's worked up about anything.
Well, have you heard the latest thing? It was on the news. The knockout. The kids
I've
going
seen
down.
that. That's such a.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's-
one punch. Four
Yes,
people have
they-
been killed.
Yes.
4 people have died.
I don't know. Something doesn't ring true to that for
You
me.
don't think it's true?
You haven't seen the videos?
I've seen the videos. I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's quite a prank or if it's an old wives' tale or if it's a legend.
Like a bad grandpa movie or something?
Yeah, something viral. It just doesn't quite fit. You hear these horror stories all the time. Did you hear about the kids today with their gang initiations and they're doing this and that? And it always turns out to be nothing. But I don't know. I've read about it this week, but I'm not quite convinced that that's really a thing that we all need to be concerned about in our grocery store parking lot. You know, this is a little bit political again, but this is another thing that's on my list. We didn't talk about it at the last show, and I felt remiss afterwards, but we had the bond measure here.
That failed for the schools.
That failed.
Yeah.
This was a bond measure for schools.
It's frustrating.
You know, it was going to be $7 a month or something for the average household to raise $25 million for our schools, and that failed.
What was the final tally?
I didn't look at the final tally, but it was
47-53, or was
something
it worse?
like that.
It was, yeah, almost.
Well, yeah, it depends on what you call. I mean, that's fairly decisive. You know, if we're off by 1 or 2 points, maybe, but
We have a caller.
okay. I can pause my thought, depending on if they're
It is Alexa.
Alexa.
I think that's Jim's daughter.
maybe.
It might not be though.
That
We
might
don't
not
know.
be.
Another Alexa.
It depends on what she's complaining about.
I hope she says, "Here's why you're wrong, Mick."
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Um,
There she is.
Yeah.
My rant
Uh oh.
is I get very upset when the speed is clearly posted at 45 miles an hour and there's no one on the road and the guy in front of you is going 30 miles an hour.
Yes.
Like, are you that oblivious? What's up with that?
Yeah, let alone the left lane sometimes of the highway where people do that. They'll just park there going 50 when it's 55 or
Well,
60.
What do you feel about Alexa? That is like
Going too slow is just as dangerous as going too fast
Right.
because you
It
got
is.
people weaving around you. I mean, you don't get to just pick your speed and go it. If you can't handle the
Right.
speed limit, get off the road. There's teenage girls behind you that are trying to get somewhere very quickly and I'm sure in a very safe manner.
But it's better to go too slow than too fast. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, but if there's no one in front of you, and I'm talking mostly on baseline, where you're just trying
That's
to
true.
get to your basketball practice, and the guy in front of you, well, I guess you can just go around him. I just go around him. But what if there's not another lane, and then you're mad?
Yeah, where you try to go around them, and then you know there's someone in the blind spot that you can't see because you're going around them, and then you crash into somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, happens to me all the time. I hate that.
Well, you crash into somebody and kill. Yeah, I can imagine that'd be a bummer.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Alexa.
Thanks.
As long as you're not weaving.
As long as you're not weaving,
right.
yes. No, I have a feeling Alexa drives very responsibly.
Very responsibly, and she leaves 20 minutes early just in case there's someone driving 50
Absolutely.
miles an hour on the far left lane.
That's just the
Alexa?
kind of person she is.
Alexa,
What?
what about someone that asks you if you have any homework to do?
Yeah, that's a big time rant.
And
Oh, I hate that.
you hate that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I hear you. I hear you, sister. Sing it, sister. Thank you, Alexa, for
Thanks,
calling
Alexa.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
Love you. Bye.
in. Love you.
Alright, that was
Well, Jim
We
just
have
said I
another-
love you to a caller. What was
that's
that about?
beautiful.
That
Well,
is
that's my
crossing.
daughter.
You don't know
Alexa.
that.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
Oh, that's true. We
What
did
if
have,
that was just another Alexa? You have
Last-
no idea.
last week we had
Woo.
It sounded a lot like her.
the callers ask if we were
If we were single.
single.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Do we
who
have
else
another caller?
Yes, we have another caller, and she should be live on the air right now.
Okay, I guess we didn't get a name. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
No. And what was your name?
Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Hi,
How are
Jennifer.
you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're
Good.
doing very well. What did you have something you wanted to rant about?
I do. It's when you're trying to cross the street in front of a car, and they're trying to take a right-hand turn, and they're looking left, and then they press on the gas.
Oh, you know, I have to admit I've been guilty of this.
I have too.
It's totally your nature to, look to the left to see if anyone's coming in that lane. And sometimes you are completely oblivious. And in fact, when I was learning to drive, when I was like 15 or 16 back in Indiana, I was out with my dad once, came to an intersection, I looked left, I did not look right, and I started to pull out just as a bicyclist came from the right. And
Wow.
I bumped him at like half a mile an hour,
Yeah.
just like right there, but
Did it
terrified
knock
me.
him over?
No. I mean, I just barely, but they gave me the old, what the heck?
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Right.
But, yeah, someone did that to my kids the other day. They were riding home from school, and they someone pulled out sort of in front of them and looked to their left, and my kids were coming, about to go around them, and they just started to pull out anyway. So that is. Have you had a? Have you ever been hit, Jennifer, or anything drastic?
We haven't. Actually, I have small children, and we face this problem quite often. Another thing is when we're trying to cross the street and the farthest lane from us is coming around to take a right-hand turn, we almost get hit crossing the street there. So I just tell my kids, watch the turn lane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always, I mean, I think kids have to almost have to have a close call before they will believe that it's dangerous, you know, because my kids always feel like, you know, I'm just walking. I can see if a car's there, obviously. And until they have that first thing, like my son did on the bicycle, where he was going and this person just started pulling out, your heart stops for a minute. And then real quick, you realize, oh, my God, I could have just been totally smashed there. And that it's a rude awakening, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll admit that I'm guilty of that. I try to be much better about it. I mean, you're supposed to, you know, look left, look right, and then look left again before you make your turn.
The other thing is when you're pulling out of a parking lot and there's a sidewalk, don't pull out into the sidewalk because you're focused on making your turn into traffic, and you're worried about cars. You're not thinking about people maybe walking on the sidewalk.
I'm guilty of that. I honestly backed into a lady.
Oh.
You know, interesting enough, I was in DMV today, and they have actually, the city of Portland, I guess the mayor has made a video about some of these things that we've been talking about that was actually being played on a TV screen in the DMV.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Featuring the mayor in the video?
Kind of like in a cartoon sense.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, bicyclists, too, in Portland. I mean, I drive in Portland a lot. And, I mean, that's another rant. Aggressive bicyclists.
We talked about it last time briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're turning right, always check your side mirror to make sure a bicyclist or a pedestrian is not coming down on that.
I'm doing that from now on.
Yeah.
I try to be conscious of that. Yeah. But there is a fine line. I try to be conscious of bicyclists, but back to Alexa's point earlier of a bicyclist going half the speed limit in front of me, pull over and let some people pass, because you're just going to make people aggressive and angry.
Yeah.
I talked about it last time.
Yeah, bicyclists need to really decide if they're a car or a bicycle or a pedestrian, because I see them using all of these things, and that's really frustrating to me.
Oh yeah, no, they're absolutely a vehicle when it makes sense for them to be a vehicle when they want to share the road. But then they don't have to obey the stop sign or the stop lights, so they just breeze right through. And it's like, oh, dude, pick your side here. That's not cool. Yeah, ridiculous. Thank you, Jennifer, for your call.
All right.
All right.
Great night.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, I mean, I swear I could do 20 different bits on bicyclists in this city. I mean, it just is unbelievable.
Well, what do you think about if you're on the freeway and if you're 10 miles over the speed limit in the left lane?
10 miles over the speed limit?
Yeah, so it's 55, but you're doing 65 and you're in the left lane.
That's what I do, pretty much.
Yeah, they don't bust you for that, for 10 over. But people want to go faster, and then they'll come up on you right on your tail end.
Yeah.
And so finally you get over, and then they go ahead, and then they go 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's someone who had a bad day and they're feeling passive aggressive.
I guess.
You know, it's interesting. The instinct in your well, I shouldn't speak for you, my nature. When somebody comes up behind me, I should just move over and let them pass.
Right.
They're going faster, by all means, go ahead. But there is a primal sort of manliness that's like, no, dude, you don't need to go faster than I'm going. Just settle down there, buddy.
I'm the traffic controller.
What are you coming up here like a bat out of hell? How dare you? Except when you come up on somebody going slow, then you're feeling like, get out of my way. So it's interesting how your brain just works that way, and you instantly excuse yourself. I know that I work that way, and I have a feeling Jim does too. When Jennifer called, I was talking about...
Sorry, real quick, Mick, everyone who drives too slow is an idiot.
Yes.
And everyone who drives too fast is a moron. But you're perfect.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
We can justify anything for ourselves.
I was talking about the bond measure. It's so silly that this didn't pass. People in Washington County are not willing to pay a dime more for anything, really, and that's why it failed. Here's my complaint, and I'm fine with that. If you don't want to pay more taxes, fine. Here's my problem, and I'm making this sort of a general statement about people who complain about taxes. Okay, mostly right wing. you know, who they don't want to pay any more taxes, libertarians, whoever, you know, I pay enough, I don't want to pay another cent more. When it comes to the bond, their answer is always, the schools are wasting a ton of money. They got to trim here and trim there. If you ask them for one single thing, what should we cut? Nothing. They got no answer.
Right.
They've never looked at a budget. They've never had to make a hard decision. They don't know. It's just, well, I don't know, but I mean, there's, you know.
That's the
there's a lot of
political
waste.
manipulation that politicians manipulate people
Mm-hmm.
with. Yeah.
It drives me nuts. And people complain about taxes. If you went up to somebody and you said, if one of these complainers, and you said, what do you think is a fair number in taxes? What should you pay in taxes, you know? And let's say they said, I don't know, I'd be willing to pay 20%, you know? I'll bet 9 out of 10 times we could look at their taxes and say, what if I told you you're only paying 17%? You say 20 is fine.
Right.
You're not even paying that, dude. Nobody knows what their actual tax rate is or how much they're paying. They just know it's too much. That's all I know. It's too much.
Too much.
And you know what? It's very simple math. Look at the taxes you paid and how much you earned. What's that percentage? It's less than you might think. I'm totally willing to pay 20, 30%, even 40%. Pay for all these roads, all these bridges, all these police, these firemen, these schools. There's a lot of stuff out there. And if you're going to complain about something like that, then you better have your number ready and you better understand what you're paying and not just this general, I don't know, but it's too much. You know, it's such a cop-out. It's just, you just want to complain and sit there and kvetch about things when you don't really have any business doing so. What do you got next on your list? I think I did 2 in a row there, Jim. You're taking too long. I'm jumping in.
Go ahead.
Sweatpants in public. When did this become okay? I don't. You don't wear sweatpants in public. Would you go to the store in sweatpants?
I might.
No, you wouldn't.
I might.
Ugh.
I'm not.
All right, I'm
my
lumping you
wife.
into this
My
category
wife
then.
would never go out. Well, I wouldn't say never, but usually never, without being all put together. I'm kind of slovenly a little bit.
No. There's a lot between all put together and sweatpants. I'm not saying you got to get your hair did before
Well,
you
I
go
don't
to the
want to
supermarket.
bend over and below the equator so that you can
So that I can what? Finish your thought, Jim. What?
I don't want to bend over in the grocery store and have you see the top of my behind. I mean,
Well, then why would you wear sweatpants? Because I will see it if you wear sweatpants.
Well, if I pull them up high enough.
No. And this is mostly directed to the ladies out there. It is not appropriate to wear sweatpants, pajamas, slippers
Okay.
to the grocery store.
Right.
College girls,
Bathrobe.
young women, this is the new thing. I'm going to throw on some flip-flops and some sweatpants that say juicy across the butt, and I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy some vegetables. Not okay. We live in a society. This is how things break down. I
Okay.
mean,
so
my
this
God.
is the slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, you know? I mean,
Where's it going to end?
I don't know. But I don't want to be there to see it.
Okay.
And, it takes all of 2 minutes to put on a fresh pair of pants, okay? I don't even care if they're
So,
dirty.
in
I'd
the
rather have
end,
dirty jeans than
There'll
clean
be
sweatpants.
wars and rumor of wars and famines and people in sweatpants
We will all...
before the end comes.
That's right.
Okay.
That's the end of days. I think that's Ecclesiastes chapter something.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't-
Do you guys ever rant that everyone thinks it's the end of the world?
You know,
I think about that. I mean,
there's an interesting thing that Bill Maher said the other day. I don't know if you ever watched Bill Maher or listened to
Bill Maher, religiosity,
Religious, yeah. No, he made an
religious.
interesting point where you have politicians like Sarah Palin or Michelle Bachmann who are very religious, and Michelle Bachmann has literally said that she believes this is the end of times and Obama's the Antichrist and all this is going on. Okay, that's fine that you feel that way. And I'm paraphrasing Bill Maher here then, but then you don't get to vote on the budget for next year. Like, you don't believe that we're going to be around. This is all fire and brimstone. The world's coming to an end. You don't get to make Supreme Court decisions. You don't get to vote
Right.
on these things because you don't have a ball in the game.
Right.
Okay? If you want to feel that way, fine. Then you can get floated up to heaven when the, what do they call that?
The rapture.
The rapture comes. And that's just fine. But then you don't get to make decisions on how I'm going to spend the next 10 years of my life stuck here cleaning up your mess. So that's my rant about the end of days and all that stuff. Was that sufficient, Mike? Is that sort of what you had, Mike?
Mike, that was a brilliant point. I
Okay.
totally agree.
Yeah, that's fine. You can believe that all you want. What's the Supreme Scalia? Scalia was talking about how he literally believes that the devil is a person who walks around, and that evil exists in that form these days, and that it is the end of days here. And this guy is deciding the law of the land. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is craziness here. And
I think he said the name was Kanye West.
that sounds about
Kanye
right.
West.
Yeah,
Who's
and
that?
I almost agree with half of that. What do you got next, Jim?
People that leave shopping carts in the middle of parking
The
lots.
parking lot?
Yeah,
In the space.
yeah.
Oh, God, I can't
Without
even count.
taking the
Yeah, to the cart return.
the 10 seconds to. It's again, it's rudeness.
It's
and,
narcissism.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, I'm done with my cart, I'll leave
Right.
it here. And then I come through, hey, there's an empty space. I come whip around, I pull into it, and there's a cart right at the end of it that I
Right.
couldn't see until
Right.
I got halfway into
Yeah.
the spot. So now it's like, all right, well, I'm either going to pull in and hit the cart, or I have to stop and get out and move the cart. And I put that in the same category as the sweatpants.
Okay.
This leads to the decline of society.
Yeah.
It started with shopping carts and sweatpants, and it ended up with fire and brimstone. I don't think that's a big leap. You know, I want to talk for a minute about tree sap and bird crap. Okay, which happens to be sort of alliterative, but there is nothing more sticky on this earth than those two substances, I've decided. If you, God forbid, you get tree sap on your hands or on your car, if you park under a car that's leaking sap,
Yeah, it gets.
it's not coming off, ever. I don't care what you do. Gasoline, you could light your hand on fire, it's still not coming off. And the same thing, I don't know what birds are eating. It's not just worms.
It's green, kind of white and green, and
It doesn't. I swear it's permanent like a tattoo on your car. If you park, I have a black car. I made the mistake of parking under a power line.
yep,
String of birds up there, just
right.
and done. Could not. I must have gone through 12 car washes. Just would not.
It wouldn't come off.
Just doesn't come off.
It hurt the finish. It's kind of acid, isn't it? Acidy.
I guess maybe that's what it is. What a cruel joke to give birds acidic properties to their fecal matter.
Right.
I mean, I don't know who was behind that.
What about the
decision.
ducks at the ponds around here and then they crap all over the sidewalk where you're walking?
Yes.
Yeah. Or people that don't pick up after their dogs.
Yes.
I think people that don't pick up after their dogs are worse than the ducks that don't know what they're doing.
The ducks can be excused.
Right.
In my old neighborhood, I haven't had it happen since we've moved yet, but almost every other day in the front yard we'd find something.
Dog crap?
Yes. And we know which neighbor's doing it, and it's like, hey, get over here to clean up after your dog. And I would go out the front, and there's the dog in the front yard without the owner anywhere to be seen. I'm like, well, you're in my front yard here, dog. What are we doing here? We're going to have a little staring contest. And, he'll just stare you right in the eyes.
When we
and do
were
his
in
business.
Paris, they did that in Paris. The people would walk their dogs on these sidewalks and they'd crap. I mean, it was and I just read something recently where they were going to crack down on that
In Paris?
in Paris, France. Yeah.
They're not really known for their
Yeah, but I
law.
mean, we were there, this was quite a while ago, 10 years ago? No, about 8 years ago. And yeah, you had to watch where you were walking because there were piles of dog crap.
It's the same thing with gum. Just spitting out your chewing gum in the middle of the sidewalk.
Right. Oh, that's so
It's
irritating.
the same thing with the
on your
cigarette
feet,
butts.
yeah.
Who do you think you are that you just get to spit on the sidewalk,
or-
just throw stuff out?
Or you're walking by a trash can and you're going to throw it in and you miss and you just
You
keep
just leave
walking.
it?
Yeah, you just leave it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
sad excuse for society.
Oh, I agree.
You know,
That's just a guy that got laid off from his job. I'm sorry.
you think so?
I can almost guarantee it. That's just bitterness.
What about the random couch or chair that you see alongside the road?
Ugh.
What?
don't-
I mean,
how did
I
that
can
get
just
there?
see somebody. They got it in their pickup. It's Chet. Chet's driving, and
You think it just
and
fell off the
Bobby
back?
Joe's in the back, and he's laughing to himself as they're going down the road. And he bangs on the window. Slow down, Chet.
I like how
And
Jim
he
has a whole
shoves-
story, he has a whole
He
narrative.
shoves the couch out, and the next morning you're driving down Baseline and here's this couch.
I've seen them out there. I think people just don't want to. If you have a couch and you want to get rid of it, what do you do with it, really? You have to bring it to the dump and pay
Right.
$30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And why do that when I can just shove it off the back of my truck
Right.
here in the middle of nowhere?
And then you can just see him laughing to himself as they're driving away, until the cop gets him.
You've thought this through, Jim. I can tell. You've put a lot of thought into this.
He was Chad.
He was, I think, maybe in a previous life. I wanted to talk. One of my first rants I meant to do today and I didn't was cameras that add 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. I was watching our last episode back a little bit just as I was editing it. It's 2013. We can't make a camera that takes off 10 pounds. Why do we not have this technology yet? I looked back and I thought, oh my God, look at how bloated
You have
I
those
am.
special effects on the cell phone or whatever. It makes you.
Why can we not do that here? Why do I look so ridiculously
We
fat
could.
every time?
We're using the wrong lens.
Yeah.
Wrong
It was
lens.
a practical joke from the people in the booth.
And I think these
You
low
caught us.
chairs maybe
Yeah.
are not helping either because
Probably not.
we're sort of back and feeling gluttonous and just sort of, Mitch McConnell-y.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
I just,
the American people.
I like
The
Jim's,
American people.
I like Jim's Mitch McConnell impression. Yeah, I just was thinking about putting that on my list, and just the fact that cameras always are so unflattering,
Yeah.
and I don't know why we can't just come up with something. I don't know if it's the color, the light.
Well, there you go. There's your ticket to
It's my $1 million idea.
$1 million idea.
The trim camera.
We should have a show about $1 million ideas. We should have our own
Okay.
Shark Tank.
Oh, okay. We'll have to put together.
Guppy tank.
It'll
The
be
Guppy Tank.
it'll be similar to the Rant show. We'll just have a list of our inventions.
Here's Mick. He's a successful,
Yeah.
Here's Jim.
Nick is an IT.
Yeah.
He
Right.
made his first 10 grand before he was
Yeah.
Wait.
27.
Wait. What is
I'm kidding.
what is so laughable about me being an entrepreneur and wealthy and successful?
Right.
Why does that elicit such laughter?
No, there's nothing wrong with
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's because we can all see that is clearly
Yeah.
going to happen any day now.
Here's
So-
Jim. He really hasn't produced anything exceptional in his life. No,
that. Except his kids.
There you go.
yeah, right.
Jim wears sweatpants
That's
to the
right.
grocery store. That
Yeah,
would be
that's
Jim's
right, yeah.
narrative. What do you got? What else is on your list, Jim?
Motorcycles, when they come and they rev them up, and they
Oh,
and for no, I mean, you come to a stop sign. Why do you have to do that every 3 seconds?
yeah. Well, it's because
Yeah.
their penis is small.
I don't guess.
Here's the thing. Motorcycles are great and fun and super cool. Harley Davidsons, people buy because they are loud and they make that distinctive
That
noise.
distinctive. I've got somebody that lives on my street,
Oh my God! I don't need to ever hear that again if it's the last day. I mean,
and I'm half asleep, and our bedrooms faces the street.
yeah.
And in
And
the
they just
summer,
come
the windows
blasting through.
open, and they come blasting through. It's the same thing with the loud music coming out.
No,
So.
it's absolutely ridiculous. You guys grow a pair. You don't need that to prove who you are. We don't all need to hear it. The same thing goes to those, with the bass, pumping out of their vehicle as they drive
Right.
by. The music just so loud. I don't need to hear your crabby
Notice
music,
me.
dude.
Notice
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Are you guys saying you never did this?
Never.
As you get
Never.
older, you have to admit that you did some things that you're worth kvetching about. That, yeah.
I would admit it if I did. I have never blasted my music like that, and if I ever did, it would be good music. That's the difference. Not the crap that you kids
Right.
are listening to out there today.
That's right.
Okay, this one. Okay, this is a semi-rant and semi-question here. There's a phrase that I was thinking of the other day, and I can't figure out the proper meaning of it. And maybe you can help me out with this. If somebody says it's all downhill from here, now that's been used as
Could be good or bad.
why?
Well, it could be, you've struggled and struggled, and finally you made it to the top, and now it's all downhill
So
from here. It's easy.
because you're heading
Yeah.
downhill. I get
Yeah.
that part. And then there's also the part where, woof, it's all downhill from here,
Yep.
which is like it's gonna get worse and
Yeah.
worse. Can we just agree on what that's gonna mean, and then uphill can mean the opposite? Because I
Okay.
don't know anymore. When I say, geez, buddy, it's all downhill from here,
Yeah.
he's gonna think I'm insulting him.
You sound just like Jerry Seinfeld. Why do you drive in a parkway and park in a driveway?
What is the deal with the downhill? Yeah, maybe that's my inner Seinfeld coming out, but I swear I could not figure out that phrase this week, and I meant to look it up, and I did look it up eventually, and it said it means both things. Well, that's not helpful at all.
Yeah.
Not helpful at all. I'm just not going to use it anymore. What do you think of that? This one, someone here in the studio reminded me of when I came in. This is another driving one. People who stop way too far back from the line.
Oh.
Way 2 car lengths back from the line.
That, and
You
then
come
go
up-
slow up to the stop.
We came up the other day behind somebody who was parked so far back. Number one, you're not going to trip the sensor, so the light will never change. We'll just sit here. We'll sit here for 2 weeks until you pull forward. So you're sitting there, maybe you give them a light tap on the horn. Well, then they just freak out. Oh my God, this maniac is behind me. Pull up to the line. It needs to know you're there. The light will change.
Yeah.
It's fine. But just leaving all those car lengths, even some people leave those car lengths between them and the next car in front of them. The front car will stop.
Now, you should stop so that you can see the back tires of the car in front of you. We've learned that because we got rear-ended once, and the insurance company wanted to bust us because we got smashed into the car in front of us, and that was one of the questions. Could you see the tires, the back tires on the car in front of you? And we could. That's how hard we were hit.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's not going to matter if you're hit super hard. It's not going to matter.
But they were going to blame you if you were too close to the car in front of you, then it was your fault or something.
I'll give you that, but not a full car length. John?
The other thing I've seen happen is people that pull too far forward. They're past the sensor,
Yes.
and no one can get up to the sensor,
Yes.
and so the lights keep cycling, and they don't understand that they're too far forward.
Yep.
And the person behind them can't get on top of the sensor, so they've got the thing locked, and the only thing you can do is make an illegal pass to get around them.
Right.
That's right. It's more people just doing what's in their own best interest and ignoring everybody else around them. And we talked last time about someone who misses their turn, and they decide to just stop in the middle of traffic and try to make the U-turn or whatever. And it's like, no, you missed your turn. Go around and try again. You don't get to stop everybody behind you while you cut across 3 lanes.
So doing your own best interests and ignoring everyone else around you, that kind of sounds like Capitol Hill, actually.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by driving politicians. That actually would explain a lot of things. What's next on your list, Jim? What do you got? I'm getting down towards the end here.
Have you ever been sitting next to somebody that starts doing this, and they're on a seat or something?
I do.
And,
You mean like
and
you're
they're not
right
paying
up against
attention?
them?
Yeah, or the whole seat is jiggling,
Mm-hmm.
and the person's like, I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
get,
am a leg wiggler, so I will do that myself. I am very conscious of on an airplane, for example, or something when it's close quarters. I'm very conscious of I'm going to keep to my space. I don't want to affect you.
touch, yeah.
But it's the same thing as like the person behind you kicking your seat repeatedly, or
In a movie theater.
Oh,
that
God.
is, yeah.
just again, what kind of animal are you that A, you don't understand what you're doing, or B, you know and you just don't care? You're just I'm just going to kick you. And parents, if this is your kid, please lock them up. I'm tired of it. Leash your kids, keep them in line. So many parents, I see them sit there and just watch as their kid kicks somebody's seat or pushes something. It's like, are you kidding me? You see that they're driving somebody nuts. Step in. Do something.
Or they took them to a horror movie and the child's like, their hair's turning white. And
Yeah, I've seen a lot of kids in movies that they shouldn't be in. I want to remind people to give us a call, 503-207-7135.
Yeah, please, call in.
Speaking of movies, this one is as old as time, but movie theater concession pricing. People like to say, "Oh, that's how they make their money. They make their money off of the popcorn and the soda." Give me a freaking break. First of all, there is zero excuse as to why a soda should cost $6.50. We're not in the middle of the desert. There's not a supply, it's not like there's a supply issue here. I can go across the street and get the same thing for 99 cents. It's just straight out, we have you locked in a room.
Right.
You have no other options. We can charge you
It's
whatever
just
we
like-
like.
yeah.
Why is that okay with us?
Okay,
Why are we accepting that?
I was at John Wayne Airport on Tuesday in Anaheim and ordered a martini. It cost me $15 for one
It's
martini.
absolutely ridiculous. This is the same stuff. And listen, you don't want people sneaking candy into the movie theaters? Then stop selling them for $7 a piece. I will take my candy in until then, and I'll see you in hell, Regal, because I'm not doing it, man.
Well,
it's
at least
ridiculous.
they give you, when you buy a ticket, when you go there, they give you free stuff or whatever, or they give you like a small popcorn free, and then you can upgrade.
Oh, if you have a Regal card or something.
Yeah,
that
you
use?
don't have one?
I do.
Oh, definitely use that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But like every 8 movies you see, you get a free something. But, I mean, it's not daily.
It's almost every other time for sure that we go to the movies, something pops out. We got a free movie ticket the other day.
I've gotten that too.
Yeah.
I've gotten that too.
Yeah.
That's still far from recouping.
What's the one
what I've
over
paid.
at Cedar Hills Crossing? I
Yeah,
like that
that's a
movie
Century
theater
Theater.
better.
Mhm.
The Century, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't think they do the.
A rewards thing.
Yeah.
I never go over there anyways. But stop ripping me off just because you can. I just want to hear.
Right.
I want to
Stop
hear what the
ripping
excuse
me off,
is.
because you can. Yeah.
What's the? If there's any possible reason or justification they could come up with, well, it costs us a lot more to truck in this popcorn than if we went just across the street to Red Robin or something. No, it's ridiculous.
Well, if the other theaters charge more, it's just greed.
It's just greed. It's just flat out greed. But they're not going to just sit there and say that. So I'd be interested to hear what they said. But it's just flat out highway robbery. It's sick. In the same vein, inkjet prices. If you ever have to buy ink for your printer, oh my God. God have mercy on your soul if you have to buy ink. It's way more expensive than oil. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about like, $10 an ounce.
They give you the printer, but the ink.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Why is that so expensive? It's ink. What did we...
Why is it expensive? I don't know.
I don't know. I have no answer for you other than the fact that we need it.
Well, they're going to create, I think 3D printers are going to change a lot of consumer products that we use in the house, and printers could be one of them.
Those stocks have been on a tear lately.
What?
DDD and SSYS and yeah.
Oh, you guys and your stock tips. Here's your tip. Stay away from stocks. The other thing, what do you got on your list, Jim? You go.
People who say no offense and then they proceed to offend you.
If they say no offense, the next thing out of their mouth is going to be offensive.
Right. You can count on it.
99% of the time. Every time. I mean, there's just no sentence should start with that.
Right.
Absolutely. There's no, I mean, I can't think of a good reason to start that way. Or, yeah, God, that drives me nuts. There was another phrase that's like that I thought of the other day. I can't think of what it is now.
Don't take this wrong? Or
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't take this the wrong way, but
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
But
Whatever you're about to say, just shut up, because it is not going to be good. There's no right way to take it. I don't need that.
right.
Um,
What about you're in a public restroom and you didn't check to see if there was toilet paper
Oh.
before you sat down?
I've never done that. I've never done that, thankfully. I've never been in that
bummer.
position.
Bummer.
Jim, I hate, for that one, many reasons, I do not like public restrooms. I'd rather go to Starbucks where I can sit by myself.
Right.
Yeah, I try never to sit in a public restroom. I did have one incident happen. An incident. There was an incident, Jim.
Do you use those Nixon party hats that you can put down on?
No, I don't.
You have to share the story.
I don't do that.
What?
I was in a stall somewhere, and for some reason the roll of toilet paper was not seated correctly in its thing. So I go to take some, and the roll pops out, and then unrolls.
Oh my
goes under the
God.
stall door and across the room.
And you can't pull it.
No,
because
I tried to pull it, and
yeah,
it just kept spinning out there. I thought, oh my God,
Oh.
somebody's gonna come in, and this is gonna be by far the most embarrassing thing that could possibly happen. So I just tried to just yank as much as I could,
Right.
get my business done, and get out of there. But yeah, that was tragic.
Yeah.
That was tragic. It was. These are what you call first world problems, by the way.
All you have
First-
to say
exactly.
is a little help.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's like you're not going to find a Somali with
No.
lactose
No.
intolerance,
No.
you know?
yeah.
I mean,
They're not very sympathetic to our bathroom
Right,
problems.
exactly.
Boy, let me tell you what happened to
Exactly.
me last week with the toilet paper roll.
right.
Let's talk about dishwashers for a second here. You have a dishwasher, right, Jim?
It gets well used.
This is another. It gets well used, but I bet you it doesn't get very clean. Does it get your dishes clean? I have yet to
Pretty
find.
much.
Oh, okay, I'm doing something wrong then, because every dishwasher I've ever had, and this is another it's 2013 sort of problem. Why do we not have a dishwasher that I don't have to clean religiously all my dishes first before I put them in there? If there's a speck of something on my dish, it's still going to be there when I'm done. Every time. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it depends.
I thought we would have robots that did the dishes by now, and we would have flying cars and all this kind of stuff. There's been no advancement in the dishwasher industry in the past 10 years. Nothing that I've seen, at least. And I don't
Well,
understand that.
Fisher-Paykel or Bosch, they make some good products.
Oh, maybe I'm buying the wrong ones.
Well, I can't afford those, but
I
that's
don't know
what
if
I
they
hear.
clean any better for the $2,000 that you're paying for the thing, but
I
I don't know.
know.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. What do you got on your list? What's next?
People that use the handicap spaces, but you can obviously see they're not handicapped.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know where, and they do have the placard.
They have the placard.
Yes.
So somehow they, scam the system.
They're on
and-
disability
Yeah,
for something
and
that
everywhere
prevents them
you
from
go,
working.
you're gonna, it's a huge parking lot. It's full, and there's all these empty handicap spaces.
Right.
And then you see somebody pull into it, and they get out of the car and do a handsprings across the parking lot.
Right.
and-
No, it's the same thing that I feel, and I get a little bit judgmental sometimes when I'm stuck in the grocery store behind somebody who's using a state benefits card or something, and is clearly young and able-bodied and absolutely in a position to go out there and do something else, and on their iPhone. If you have an Oregon Trail card, or you're on food stamps or something like that, I don't want to see you with an iPhone. I just don't. It just infuriates me. I can't think of a justification for why you can afford an iPhone, but you can't afford to take care of yourself or your children.
Well, everybody has those phones now. I mean, they'll have a big screen TV, I don't know, it's just the nature. I mean, you could
Don't
be.
ever volunteer at a homeless shelter, then it'll really make you crazy.
No, I'm
They've all
sure.
got laptops and iPhones.
Oh,
So
yeah, I've seen homeless
Well,
people.
okay, not all of them, but I've volunteered at a shelter, and you see a lot of them now. I don't know where they get them, and for many of them, it's a real boon to have.
Yeah.
But it does kind of like, well, wait a minute. You can't afford food, but you've got a laptop or an iPad, and
My daughter years ago wanted to give some money to this homeless person who's always outside a certain McDonald's over here, and so we stopped and gave her money, and then the next day we saw her out there again. She's talking on her cell phone. I was like, how are you paying monthly for a cell phone if you're? I mean, I don't understand this. I would love to do a documentary of just following these people around and see who went home to a nice warm house and pulled in $200 that day and who didn't.
Well, have you seen that? I mean, there are a lot of poor people out there.
Of course there are.
But there's millions and billions of cell phones, and the electronic detritus
Yeah, the
Is that a
piles. Yes, the piles
of our environment,
Mhm.
that you could be homeless, but yet those things are so ubiquitous
Mm-hmm.
that people have them. But
I'm
that
with
doesn't
you.
mean you're not poor or
I hear you.
Well, I mean, if there are no payphones, and you're homeless, then you have to have a cell phone.
Who are you calling? And
Good point.
whoever you're calling, do they have a couch? Because something doesn't add up here. We're down to
It's easy to pick on the homeless.
we're.
So we shouldn't end with picking on
is
the
this the
homeless.
end?
It's easy.
Exactly.
Yes. We've only got a few seconds left. I'll end on a different note then. Windshield wiper speed. It's either too fast or too slow. I can never dial it in just right. It's either on full blast or it's the intermittent setting.
Right.
It's not quite
Fast
giving me
enough, yeah.
enough. Can we please just work that out again? It's 2013. Let's just really dial it in there and get it just right. I
Well,
want to remind everybody.
Mercedes-Benz
Well, we're out of time, Jim. So we'll see you guys
See you
next
next
time in
week.
2 weeks.
We have
Check
we
us
have a
out
call.
online. No, we got more time. Oh, nice. Then our timer was off. I can't hear you, John.
We have a caller.
No, I'm not sure why
you
there we go.
still have time left.
Oh, we do.
Oh,
Okay.
About a minute.
so what's the
Okay.
next week?
I
mean,
you know
in
what?
2
I
weeks.
was thinking about doing another politics show because I'm riled up about this term limit stuff. The next show is going to be December 5th. I mean, what do you think about that? You want to?
Politics. What aspect of politics?
We'll have to talk about it between now and then. We'll post it on the
All right.
website. But
Politics.
let's do another politics show. I think it's been a while since we've done the last one.
How gerrymandering is destroying
There
the
you
country.
go. That
Yeah.
could be a great one. Check us out.
Yellow journalism.
Check us out. WrongTVShow.com. Check us out right here on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook so you can keep an eye on us and see what's going on. And we'll see you next time.